Okay, this is going to be the video for the FRQ of number group. This question has three parts, A, B, C, and we're going to start with A. So first, the program specifies that the number group represents a group of integers defined in some way. It could be empty or contain one or more integers. It asks us to write an interface called number group, which represents that group of integers. So this interface is we're asked to write a single method called contains, and it determines if a given integer that is passed in is in the group of integers. But however, when it asks for us to implement a functionality for this contains method, in an interface, methods cannot have bodies. So basically, this is all there is to part A. You write the interface, name it number group, and you have this one single method named boolean contains, and it takes a parameter of an integer number. Basically, whatever is going to be the subclass that implements this interface is going to have to have a contains method that will have a body and will have a functionality. And this is all that there is to part A. In part B, the program specifies that a range represents a number group that contains all and only the integers between a minimum value and a maximum value inclusive. And it says write the range class, which is a number group. The range class represents the group of int values that range from a given minimum value up to a given maximum value inclusive. So basically, when you create a range object, you pass in these two parameters. This first integer parameter is going to be the minimum value, and the second one is going to be the maximum value. And for example, when you pass in -3 as minimum and 2 as the maximum, the group of integers created is going to be -3, -2, -1, 0, 1, and 2 because it's inclusive. So the FRQ asks us to write the range class and to include all necessary instance variables and methods. So basically, since we're going to have two integer parameters are going to be passed in to create a range object, we're going to have a private integer minimum for the minimum value and a private integer maximum for the maximum value. And this is going to be our constructor for the class, and it takes two parameters. The first one is a minimum, and the second one is a maximum. Here it just sets basically our private instance variables of min and max to the min and max that is passed in. It's the same name, but this min is this one, and this one is this. And while these two corresponds to the ones that are passed in. And since we have to have the method of contains because we're implementing the numbers group interface, and then the specific function is stated up here. Basically, if a number is between the minimum value and the maximum value, or it is the minimum and the maximum value, then the contains method returns true. Otherwise, it returns false. Here we have a AND statement. Or AND comparison. Basically, this is if number is greater than or equal to the minimum value, and this is if number is less than or equal to the maximum value. This means both of these statements have to be true, meaning that the number has to be between the minimum and maximum value, or it is the minimum and maximum value. And this num is passed in as a parameter because this has to mirror this, which is the exact method declaration that we have here. And so basically, this is all there is to the part B of the question. Part C of the question specifies us to write not write a multiply groups class, but it tells us what it is. So a multiple groups class represents a collection of number group objects and is a number group. The multiple groups class stores the number groups in the instance variable group list, which is given here. So basically, what it's saying is this method, this class also needs a separate contains method, and it does this. It's basically it's the same functionality as the contains method that we've written here, and it says each one of these number groups is a new range object with a minimum and a maximum value. And these are some examples. Like for example, if there is three of these ranges and three of these ranges between 5 and 8, 10 and 12, 1 and 6. 2 and 6 are both within these numbers, so the method returns true. But 9 is not within any of these ranges that are created, so it returns false. This is the part C. So basically, as you can see, we're writing the public Boolean method of contains, and this is the parameter of the number that we're trying to get to. So since group is so this is a for each loop, right? Group list is from over here. Group list. Group is just the name that we randomly name it. So for every number group object of group in the group list, if group and group it right now is a range object as we've initialized it from over here. If it contains the number, so it calls this contains method, which is the functionality that we want. And if that group of integers contains this number, the program returns true. And this keeps repeating, and if doesn't contains number, it never returns true. And if after cycling through every single group in group list, it still doesn't return true or detect the number from the range of arrays that is, or the range of numbers from the group of arrays that is provided, the program returns false. And that's basically part C. And that just covered part ABC of the FRQ of numbers group.